My name's Tom Sizmur and I work at University of Reading in the UK. So Leguminose is a project where we're trying to increase the adoption of cereal legume intercropping across Europe and beyond. Intercropping is where you're growing 2 or more different plants of different species in the field at the same time as each other. So often this can be in alternate rows or it can be as a mixture across the field. There's a lot of benefits from intercropping. So the most obvious and well-known one is that the legume is fixing nitrogen from the atmosphere and it's able to transfer some of that nitrogen that it's fixed to the cereal plant, so providing nitrogen from the atmosphere rather than nitrogen from inorganic fertilizers. But our understanding of exactly how that happens is imperfect at the moment, and so we're hoping through this project to understand a little bit about how and when that happens, basically. There's a lot of other perceived benefits for farmers. So one of them is simply you're insuring yourself against crop losses as well. So for example, if one crop takes really well and one crop doesn't do so well, then rather than losing your entire field, you've still got something that you can sell. There's also lots of sort of fairly anecdotal information, I should say, about the intercropping, meaning you have fewer weeds, fewer pest and disease issues. And so this means you'd also be able to reduce the amount of pesticides, for example, that you apply, or you just have fewer pest and disease issues in an organic crop. So in terms of a scientific advancement, I think that Leguminose will help us understand not just the nitrogen benefits associated with intercropping, but much better the other benefits, so these pest benefits, these the weed control, and also the economic benefits as well. Hopefully developing the market for those intercropped products and better methods of separation. But also on farm, I think there'll be other benefits as well. So the farmers themselves will be talking to each other, learning from each other, learning about how to manage an intercrop crop on their farm. Living labs will be field experiments run on farmers' fields. So each farmer that participates, of which there'll be 20 across the UK, will have one plot where they're growing a monoculture of a cereal, and they'll have one plot where they'll be growing a monoculture of a legume, and then they'll have one plot where they're growing the cereal legume intercrop in the same place, basically. One of the biggest barriers that farmers have at the moment is that they need to find a market for their intercropped product. So at the moment, if you're not going to put it into animal feed, you want to take it into human consumption and achieve a sort of a higher price, then there's no real premium that you could obtain for an intercropped product. So it's trying to develop that market and also develop the separation technology as well. Europe's agriculture is highly mechanized. They've developed machineries that are really developed for trying to grow monoculture, one crop at one time, where you're drilling seed of just one species and you're harvesting seed, and the machinery is really kind of developed under that system. And so there's also the need to kind of adapt that machinery or make use of new machinery that's coming through that enables you to grow multiple crops at the same time, harvest them, separate them if necessary as well, and that's where we need to start going. I'd really like to push beyond just 2 crops at one time. And I'd also really like to get away from the idea that you have to separate them into 2 different things. So, for example, in my kitchen, if I make bread, I might put several different ingredients into the bowl and mix them together. And each of those ingredients would have been grown as a monoculture. So I think, well, why did we grow them as a monoculture? Is it possible to do your mixing in the field rather than in the kitchen, and then grow things as a polyculture and then create products out of them? But at the moment, this is a bit of a long-term dream. I don't think we're quite there yet. I quite like chickpeas, I think, so they're quite nice. So at the moment, chickpeas is a very, very niche crop in the UK. It's not really grown in the UK very much at all. So we get most of our chickpeas from India. But yeah, I like chickpea curries.